people, welcome to my review for Keeping Up with the Joneses. So this film stars Gal Gadot, Isla Fisher, Zach Galifianakis, and a few other people, and it revolves around the story of one person who is really interested in new neighbors that just moved in. They are known as the Joneses, and they just moved in, so it's sort of about her interest in them and how that sort of leads her into espionage and etc. So by that premise alone, it sort of sounds like a thriller action movie, which is why I was surprised after hearing the premise that this was more of a comedy. After hearing the cast, you would not be surprised, but just based off that premise alone, it's very interesting that they went for a more comedic approach. So this film has not been getting too good of reviews. It's been on the lesser side, and I didn't really like the trailers. They didn't look too good. And I went into this movie not expecting much, and I didn't really get much out of it. Keeping Up with the Joneses is not a terrible, atrocious movie, but it's just a bad one. It's a movie that merely exists. About 5 times a month, we get a movie that comes out, gets its money, and then goes into the dark and really never comes back out again. It's sort of a movie that just exists. And Keeping Up with the Joneses is absolutely one of those movies. There are some good aspects to it. There are definitely some entertaining scenes. There are some entertaining aspects to the movie for sure. And overall, the cast, the 4 of them, they all have really good chemistry and they all work well together, which is nice to see in a comedy. But I do have to say that this film also has way more problems than it does positives. It's also absolutely an unrealistic movie. It's just every event that happens in it, what the characters say, what comes out of their mouth, just completely unrealistic. They go for a lot of awkward humor where a character tries to one-up a character and only becomes more hurt by it, like trying to open a beer can that's supposed to be opened with a beer opener and only hurting yourself, something like that, which is in the movie. And it doesn't work. It's just really offbeat, and it fails 90% of the time, and it's just overall not too funny. And those jokes, they're just completely unrealistic, which a great comedy has realistic jokes that make sense for that situation, which it's always nice to see on screen, and you don't get that a lot when you actually have realistic jokes, and this one definitely did not. The movie also just feels standard, which is a weird word to use, but I'll explain what I mean by that. It goes along as you expect it would. I wouldn't say predictable or cliche. I wouldn't use those words. But it just is your standard movie. It's sort of like French fries, If you just get a random pair of French fries from a random burger joint, it's not like you predicted exactly what their taste. It's not like they have a cliche taste. They're just standard fries. And that's exactly how this movie felt. It was just a standard movie. Nothing really special. Nothing really all that interesting. And that is really a big issue with Keeping Up with the Joneses. Overall, the cast does do a really good job with their roles. They have a lot of great chemistry together, and overall the acting is fine, but it cannot make up because of that fact. And because of that, I do have to say that I dislike Keeping Up with the Joneses. And also, if you're planning on seeing this movie, do not watch a single trailer. Just don't. This movie, the trailers absolutely spoiled every single plot point that was going on. And I hate it when that happens in movies. You don't need to spoil everything that's going on in a movie in order to make it seem appealing. And I understand if you want to do that in order to try to show an interest in the plot, but it's still not something that you should do. It's something you should definitely shy away from. So, to conclude, I would give Keeping Up with the Joneses about a 4.25 out of 10, 4.25. Okay film, I suppose, just not one I'm ever going to remember. Incredibly forgettable. In fact, by tomorrow, this film will have just completely left my mind. Alright, that concludes my review. What did you think of Keeping Up with the Joneses? Comment in the comment section below. I am Robert Burke, and this has been The Clever Critics. Goodbye.